Time to cross the T's, dot the I's. The rest of the week's top stories. With us now is Fox political analyst and best-selling author Angela McGlowan, Dow Jones Newswire reporter Veronica Dagger, and radio talk show host Ben Ferguson. So, Sarah Palin, she's on her bus tour. The media is scrambling to chase her. They're totally confused about what she's doing, but the media is not alone. You've seen the survey. She has some very strong positives. She has some strong negatives in the polls. In other words, people either love her or not. Why is that? Is it because people don't know where she stands on the issues? One caller to the radio show said he's confused and doesn't know where she stands, and Tyrone is our caller of the week.
I'm a conservative, and I listen to a lot of conservative talk shows, and all of you guys back Sarah Palin, but what I'm yet to hear is somebody define what Sarah Palin stands for. And that's what I'm waiting for, Sarah, to take a stand on something, anything. And then tell me how she comes to a conclusion where she said, this is what I'm going to do, and it's based on this, this, and this, and come to draw some kind of logical conclusion. Whether I agree with her or not, at least I'm hearing how she puts things together.
All right, so Tyrone is a little confused, and the media is confused about what she's doing. Is she going to run? Is she not going to run? Angela, let's start with you.
Yes.
You know, Tyrone had a very interesting point, because we know that she's for drill, baby, drill.
Yes.
But I don't know, do we know her stand on a lot of issues regarding Iran or the Federal Reserve, or, I mean, so does he have a point?
He has a point to a certain point where Sarah needs to define herself. I mean, the Tea Party loves her. She's a darling of the Tea Party. She's a social conservative. We know that she likes fiscal responsibility, but what are you going to do to create a better America? What are you going to do about the deficit? What are you going to do about creating more jobs? So I think that when she announces, if she does, we will find out more. But we can talk about her.
Is she?
We can't define her.
Is she or isn't she?
I think that she's going to run for the Senate in Arizona. I really do. John Cowell is retiring.
Yes.
She just bought a house there.
Right.
And it's up for grabs. You have Sheriff Joe, but they love Sarah Palin in Arizona.
All right, Veronica, let's start with the is she or is she not? Is she going to run or not?
I don't think she's going to run for president, but if she does run, who's to say she's going to get the nomination? I don't think that's likely. But what she does bring is so much star power. She's got the celebrity candidate thing going on that's so attractive. She's fresh, she's energetic. So, you know, she has this incredible following. That said, there's still a lot of people who feel, you know, are her detractors, and her polls aren't what they need to be in order for her to launch a bigger campaign.
Do you know where she stands, or does she need? Is it? I mean, I think we can guess on where she stands on a lot of things.
On a lot of things, for sure. You know, and I think, you know, she's saying, you know, a lot of things that are true. The government's spending too much. You know, we're not making this a friendly environment for corporations. We need to look at that. So I think she's resonating with a lot of Americans on those important issues.
But Tom, if I could add, though, as for winning the nomination, and I'm sorry, Ben, as for winning the nomination, I think she has a very good chance. She's a darling of the Tea Party. The South will vote for her before they'll vote for Mitt Romney. I really believe that, Ben. Being from Mississippi, I believe
let's get Ben Ferguson in here. So, Ben, is it the media's fault for not asking her specific questions of policy? Do you?
No, it's her fault, because she's become a soundbite commentator, not even a politician, and she mouths off on everything. And I don't want a candidate running for president that's going to have a hard time getting my vote if you're a Twitter candidate. That's what we got from Barack Obama.
Why,
I mean,
what's wrong with it?
And here's the other thing: she's a reality TV star. I mean, she's followed by Paris Hilton, and then they go back to Sarah Palin. If you want to be president of the United States of America, start acting like it and stop doing a media stunt, riding a bus around saying, "Don't know where I'm going, but I'm sure I'm against America." But follow me. I mean, it's bad.
All right, so Ben's not a Sarah fan. Let's move on to the housing numbers, because the housing, oh my, these numbers are continuing to tank, and it appears that we have that dreaded double dip is here in the housing market. We're down below where we went back in April of 2009. We've tipped over, and we're now down below it again. The dream of owning your own home hasn't become a reality for a lot of people in this country. So, Veronica, why are people not buying? Are they afraid? Are they stuck? Can they not get a mortgage? What is it?
I think people are still very afraid. I mean, I talk to a lot of financial advisors who work with the average Americans, but also very wealthy people as well. And even those folks are really worried. They're worried about what the government's doing. They're worried about their own employment situations in certain cases. They've seen friends being laid off laid off for 2 years. You look at those unemployment numbers. Being laid off is one of the #1 causes of not being able to make your mortgage.
Sure.
So why would you want to buy a house if you may lose your job?
So if you're not feeling secure about your job.
You're not feeling secure about your job, or you buy this house, you may not be able to sell it. I mean, there's so many foreclosures and short sales. You see your neighbors having to do this. Why would you put yourself in that position if it could jeopardize your financial security?
Ben, what do you make of this housing market going back down again? Where's it going?
I mean, I think it's going to continue to go down probably for the rest of this year and probably until a lot of next year when you're going to see a lot of politicking for the presidency. And I don't think that this president's going to be able to turn the economy around. He doesn't seem to know what to do with it. So I think we're going to have problems for the next couple of years. But at the same time, it's a brilliant market for people that aren't afraid of, I would say, traditional buying and selling. If you're okay with going into a short sale, if you're okay with getting a foreclosure, I bought a foreclosure, saved $200,000 over what the last guy paid for the house I live in. So for me, it was a great opportunity, and for a lot of Americans that are buying foreclosures, this is a great time to buy, save literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in many cases, and you got interest rates that really probably aren't going to get any lower than they are right now.
All right, let's get to politics in, Angela, because if the housing market's lousy, people aren't feeling the wealth effect, and people, incumbents don't get reelected when people aren't feeling good about their pocketbook.
And that's the rub. Incumbents need to go out there and talk about what's going on now. Conventional wisdom says that it's better to own a home than to rent, and I believe in that wisdom. And right now, first-time homeowners, if you get an FHA loan, you can write off the interest. Also, you have energy tax incentives. There's a lot of things. You can write off different things if you're smart about it, and I think that politicians need to go out there and explain what those incentives are. And Ben is right. Interest rates are low and fire sales are great. So if you have a steady job, if you have a steady income, I think that it's great to buy a home at this time.
Let's move on to the one thing that we cannot give up. And we're talking, of course, about this report that came out from the World Health Organization this week saying that cell phones, well, they said they may cause cancer. But where is the scientific data? They offer none, other than they literally said, it may be possible. But you know what other products are categorized in that same area? Coffee, styrofoam cups, the exhaust from gasoline. So, Ben, I mean, if it's dangerous, I want them to tell me so, but I don't want them to come out and yell fire in the theater and say it may be.
This is a classic example of just making stuff up to keep your organization relevant and getting some press. They knew when they announced this that everybody was going to talk about it. It makes them relevant. I actually think, though, that makes them look pretty stupid and uneducated. One of my best friends is a neurosurgeon. I asked him, I said, hey, what do you think about this? He said, Ben, there's not one study that we've seen as brain surgeons that say anything that directly links a cell phone to cancer in the brain. He said, so I'm going to keep using my cell phone until I see something different, but this study was pretty much worthless.
I wonder if there is 36% of people who have brain tumors have gone to a circus at one time in their life. I mean, what does this mean? They gave no scientific data.
Look, the World Health Organization is about a lot of hype. They've built an industry on this. Ben is right about that. It's rampant speculation, and I've talked to doctors about this, and there is no correlation there. And to actually do a study, Tom, it would cost millions of dollars. Yep. You'd have to put people in a room who don't have brain cancer, that didn't use cell phones, and people who do, and brain cancer is at an all-time low.
That's the thing. It hasn't changed, even though the cell phones have come along. And the problem is, you know, there's a segment of the population that gets up in the morning, they're fearful of their own shadow.
Right.
This is going to scare them.
Even more paranoid.
You know, their next their next study is going to say, don't talk on your cell phone while in front of a microwave. I guarantee it.
Yeah. That'll do it.
No matter what even if it was true and cancer's no laughing matter, I'm not saying if it is true, try putting down your cell phone or your other electronic devices for more than a day. Most people go crazy, so I don't think this would even, if it was true, I don't think this would change anyone's behavior.
If I leave the house without my cell phone, I go back.
When Johnny Cochran died, they showed a picture of him on his cell phone. It was a big rumor that he died from brain cancer from using the cell phone too much.
Well, you know what? Here's the solution. Just text people from now on.
Exactly.
Angela, Veronica, Ben, thank you all very, very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.